No.
And okay, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Today we're doing a very special Ask Us Anything. This is something that we typically do with our members, with our elite members. And today, well, we're still doing it with our elite members, and we are sharing it, well, with you guys over here on YouTube. So as you guys have questions, feel free to put them into the chat. Our members that are here, that are logging in, all have microphones open, so you get to hear a lot of questions back and forth every way. Yeah, we're going to talk about markets, open trades, and general questions. So get them into the chat. Stu and Tish, welcome to the Ask Us Anything. A little extra hoopla there, but how you guys doing?
Yeah, very well.
Alrighty, so let's take a look at current markets and see what's going over here. Let me share my screen. Let me know when you guys are able to see it.
I see it.
All right, great. Yeah, so continued downtrends across the board. This is a spreadsheet that I use to track everything. I've been tracking the current market environment for a long time. As you can see here, just which way is it moving, up, down, or sideways, and changed from downtrend to sideways briefly. We had 2 days of sideways action across the board on the major indices, on the daily charts, and I'm pretty sure it broke the yellow out like that. That's continued. I'd consider this to be a continuation of the downtrend. This almost reminds me of what, not quite as clean as MATX, but I posted that into the chat earlier. There was like an ascending trend line in MATX. Here, let me bring that one up over here on MATX, where it was forming this almost like a bear flag, like not a fantastically formed one, a little whippy, but it had this ascending trend line, and then it started to wedge up, and I saw that, and I saw it even cleaner down here on the 30-minute. So yeah, that's what many of the major indexes look like to me, and you can see like how it was wedging up, and then it starts to break down, and now it's actually even below that little ascending trend line right there. But yeah, pretty gnarly action across the board. Did this count as a distribution day? Is it just me? Are my eyes deceiving me, or was there that little distribution flag was there a moment ago? I feel like it was. You go back on the. Maybe I was seeing it down here on the Dow. In either case, pretty heavy distribution coming in and continued downtrends across the board on major indices. So I'm just going to take this, put this back over here, and then I'll fill in the rest of it later. Any thoughts or questions, or what are you guys seeing?
Not seeing much the same, Mike. No, I went short ES Mini this morning, so but much the same. Just got that move down on the SPY. Yeah. There's a nice, pretty nice setup on ES this morning.
Yeah, somebody on, I think Twitter was asking me about ES and what's the other one? The NE?
Yeah, NS. Yeah.
No, not that one. Yeah, well, whichever the NASDAQ futures are. It's not something that I trade, but I pulled up the chart earlier and it looked about the same.
Yeah, they do. They are much the same. Yeah. NQ1 is the NASDAQ.
Oh yeah, NQ. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's pretty horrendous.
Yeah, if you look at it on the hourly chart, you can see a nice little topping pattern. That's what I traded anyway.
Oh yeah, right there. That little, and then breaking this area right here.
Well, that's 50 you're on there. If you bring up ES1 and then go to the hourly, yeah. Yeah, you see that little right at the top at 10 o'clock this morning. Just under that, above that trend line you run, it was just a nice flat little range, break of that range. That's where I got in, just in the break to the pretty much where your trend line cuts across it.
Yeah.
10 o'clock UK time, so that would be would that be your time would be about 5 hours before you, so be 5 AM your time. Advantages in trading this side of the pond.
Yeah.
Get this early move.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be up in time, but I'm at the gym.
Yeah. But yeah, just I literally caught the break of that trend line, but I wasn't looking at that trend line. I was just looking at the range above it.
Yeah, very nice.
It's going well so far. Done all right. But 600 basis point move so far.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get you to come to one of the local meetups. We've got someone coming to talk about futures coincidentally on June 18th.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some great instruments there now, especially with all the minis and the nanos and things to learn the trade.
Tish, well, what are you in? Are you still?
Well, I'm still in Hudson and Equate, EQT.
Yeah, wow, Hudson's still. Right, like so there's still a handful that are holding up, and like you wouldn't even know that the indexes are falling 3-4% on a day. Looking at something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done holding out, not getting scared out because of some market noise. What was the other one?
Equate, or I don't know if it's Equate. It's EQT.
EQT. It's here?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I get rid of that. And remind me, well, what was the trade here? Well, what were you? How did you get into this?
I was looking as a high type flag, and third week it bounced off the red, the 50-day,
Right.
and I got in around on the 16th.
The 16th, so like right here as it's coming above this little couple of
Area.
days consolidation right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good trade, Tish.
Thank you. It was because
Yeah,
of
indeed.
your program you did on high type flags.
Yeah. Looks good.
Since I can't shard anything in my accounts,
Ah.
I have to find things that I can make money on. Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably got a few ideas for you. Can you buy ETFs in your account?
Can I what?
You buy ETFs in it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's things like hedge and stuff you can buy. Kind of the short ETFs, if you like, doing well, as you'd expect.
What ticker is that?
Well, hedge, which is HDGE. That's quite
Okay.
good.
HDG.
Yeah.
My friend Adam Sarhan likes to use this one. I remember him talking about using hedge.
Yeah. There is my list. There's a few others that are quite good. SJB is one.
SGB.
SJ Sierra Juliet Bravo.
SJB.
Yeah. It's another one.
When you do that, do you have to have like already have stocks when you're shorting something? Do you have to have longs or intermediates that you've got in your account? You like got my EQT and Hudson. So do I have to have those in there to short? Can I short without having any other stock, owning any other stock?
No, you can short without owning other stock, yeah.
Okay.
If you're shorting, you borrow the stock. If something like this, if you're buying one of these, you just buy the ETF, because the ETF is just an instrument. But hedge is a good one. That one always kind of works quite well. So obviously then hedging position.
Yeah.
It is.
Because I've done SQQQ before, but it seemed like it was like, well, I didn't really make any money on it, so it's like, why did I do it?
Yeah, I remember SQQs is a day trading instrument primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is that one. There's also SDS, almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a day trade.
There's another one, SNH or something. SNH? No.
That's
No, it's not that one. SH maybe. Yeah, SH, which is the short one. Short S&P. Which is, and that's not a leverage like FQQ, so you can go into that at any point. Which is basically inverse.
Okay.
S&P 500. So again, that's quite an easy one to use, because there's no volume restrictions on them, and because no slippage or anything like that either. So it's all good.
Okay.
The spreads are tiny, like a cent spread.
Thanks for that.
How's it going, Sal?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, doing good. Doing good. Well, we're also streaming to YouTube today.
Okay.
Just opening it up, trying to help a few more people. If there's anybody that's on YouTube and you're watching, I know that you guys don't have the microphones open like that. That's we're able to do that over on Discord, on our private Discord channel. But if you do have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat, and we'll do our best to get to everybody's questions as well. But Sal, well, what are you trading these days?
I traded Coke, an actual, it's called an in-out spread, where I bought a spread, a put spread, 66 puts to expire in June, and I sold 64 against them. And for under 96 cents. And then I sold out of them for $1.60. It's basically because it's an in-out spread. You have directional risk just like stock, but the other Greeks, the gamma, the theta, vega are more or less neutralized. So it's a directional bet basically, and it's defined risk. So if you were to short stock and it's not to take off on you, you have to get out of it with a stop. This is built into the spread. The stops are built in.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's a directional bet.
So do you still have a piece of it, or did you take the whole your full profit here?
I took the whole thing off for profit, and because we had such a sell-off today, I took a much smaller position on the 61, 63 calls. Because I just think we might get a pull up the next few days because it looks like it's sold off quite a bit today. So thinking that we get a pull off between now and Friday, I'm hoping I'll get the rebound. But the calls is not as good a trade as the puts because with the puts you're trading in the direction of the skew. You're buying a cheaper option, selling a more expensive option relatively. We're talking, with the calls, it's the other way around. I'm actually buying vol of about 29%, selling at 27%. So I'm kind of trading against the volatility skew. But once again, it's directional. Everything's more or less neutralized on all the Greeks except the delta.
Yeah, very interesting. As for me, I am still long Merck. Still long Merck. One and only position that I have on right now. Take the annotations off. Looks like I have tons of indicators on here, but I just like to mark up my charts quite a bit. It had what I consider a very nice VCP from back here. Put the annotations on again, so tightened up over these 69 days right there, 22%. Then over here, tightened up for 52 days, 11 and change. Then tightened up a bit more in here for 6.5, and then it tightened up again for about 4% in that little range, and then broke out, and it was doing that on pretty heavy volume, like you see these large volume spikes, and the dry up in the volume as it would pull back too. So all classic things that you would want to see in a volatility contraction pattern. Broke out, and so far so good. It hit my first scale out. I took my first scale out at 5%. just above 1R. It nearly got to 2R yesterday. So I rolled my full stop up to break even, and can actually update that little note there. So the last 90% has a hard stop at 88.90. And yeah, there are several layers of protection with it, right? All the moving averages, the 5, the 10, the 21, the anchored VWAP off of the move on earnings, and managed to hold up. I had so here's how danger signals can work, right? Like I think that this is a good example of how quickly danger signals can work and how they can pile up. So where price ended today, there was actually only one danger signal: price closing near its lows, right? And well, we could come up with whatever we want for danger signals. I've come up with and listed out, I believe I've got 40 in this spreadsheet. This is in the playbook, this week's playbook that's shared with everybody. And so of these 40, there was only one that happened today. Price closing near its daily low. But also from what I shared in the chat, if price managed to close below yesterday's low, an additional 5 danger signals would have triggered. Like, as crazy as that is, it would have been price closing not just at the daily low, but it would have been closing near its weekly low. It would have been closing near its weekly low on heavy volume too, right? Because if you jump out here and come over to the weekly time frame, we're only halfway through the week. The volume is going to be greater than, or it's tracking to be greater than last week. So I would throw that as a potential danger signal as well. It would be closing below the 5 EMA. The stochastics would have rolled over, even more so than they're appearing to so far, and it would have closed below the 1.5 trailing ATR that I like to keep track of. So with 6 danger signals piling up, that would have prompted me to exit, but because it held up, I am still in this trade. Any thoughts on that soliloquy?
I think Merck is looking good, right? It's holding up, even though the rest of the market's selling off.
Yeah, it's in that tiny boat with Tish's trade in Hudson. Not sure if you were here for that one, but yeah, here it is, HDSN. Both of them relative strength lines pushing into fresh all-time highs. Meanwhile, prices down on the day. Just shows like how much the market's getting beaten up and how strong these are relative to the market. Yeah, this still looks fantastic. Here's a question from one of our friends on YouTube, Caesar. I would like to know your NQ analysis for the next few months. Well, we were talking about NQ. Well, what is it, Stu? It's like NQ1, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, well, like the way that that I operate, and I think that most of us operate, Caesar, is like, well, we'll do analysis each day. And so we're tracking the trend. We're tracking the trend, not predicting the trend. So where it's going to be in the next few months, I haven't the foggiest. That said, I could still look at each of, and this is getting into some of the market analysis that we do routinely. So zooming out and looking at a monthly chart to start, right? So NQ, we've got the NASDAQ over here. NASDAQ on the monthly time frame, it's already rolled over, making and is in a long-term downtrend, a series of lower lows. That red line there is the 12-month moving average. This gray one is the 36-month moving average, and it's already closing below the 36-month moving average. There's a few dotted lines over here on the NASDAQ. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Just trying to highlight a few potential areas of support. It already closed below the prior highs from September 2020. The next potential layer of support will be the lows from September 2020. So you're talking 10,475. So we could take a look at the mini over here, and it'll be like 10,734-ish, somewhere around that ballpark. And then the way that I would do it would be like looking at that longer term view and then going down into the weeklies and taking a look at the dailies. And so that way it's almost like a forest, trees, and then leaves approach. So that way you could start to see like the major turns as well as the smaller turns. And so you're not getting caught in the middle of the forest picking up one leaf off the ground and saying, uh-oh, winter's here. But you're not also waiting for all the leaves to be off the trees to say that it's winter. So it's taking in all these multiple dimensions. But Stu, this is something that you trade, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Much the same as you, Mike. I mean, it's in a downtrend, and I'll just wait until it comes back up towards the 21 period moving average. On that, I trade off the daily chart primarily and pick entries off the hourly for futures. But yeah, it's going down. I expect it to break the previous low to the left. That would be my first target. And it's similar to the E-mini trade I'm in just now. That's my first target, and then I would expect it to maybe drop down about half as much again for a kind of second target, and then look to exit. And then,
so is that like right around here you're talking, or just through that red line?
let me see, where are you?
Looks like
somewhere down about
11.
there. Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, but I mean, the way I trade it is very much a sort of it's the opposite of buy the dip. It's basically sell the rally. You wait for it to come up to a structural significant price, which and you can look at that just now and see very clearly that it's following that 21 period, which is the purple one on your chart, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, if you look at that if you took all those other averages off and just left that 21 period on, you would see that it's pretty much following that down. That's the average that's in control at the moment. So when it gets close to that, then you start looking for a short.
Yeah, in control, like the strat. Well, which one is the truth?
I mean, well, yeah, similar to that. Yeah, to what's in control, but yeah, I mean that in terms of this particular downtrend at the moment, that 21 period looks to be in control. So.
And I just saw Anthony hop on. Good afternoon, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony normally likes to use the meeting room chat. But yeah, let me know what other questions you guys have. Get this reset over here.
Mike, I got a question on Newmont Mining.
About which one?
NEM, Newmont.
NAM.
NEM.
Oh, NEM.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of, looks like it's fallen down close to its 200-day.
It almost looks like it's forming these little Darvis boxes on the way down. Right? Like, so you got this box here, then that's not 3 days, but okay, that's something. And then you got another one over here. Yeah, I think if it breaks the 200, you've got pretty clear spot for your stop up here. If you want it to be conservative, that's where I would put it.
I'm wondering if it'll rebound. I'm wondering if it'll rebound. That's my question, you know? And obviously, it's trending down at the moment.
It is at a spot where you would expect it to, right? Like if it's gonna find support, and you have price structure from back here, right? That it's now testing, and that breakout over here is from a resistance level from back here, right? Like this has been that 6350 level has been a major area of interest for a while. I would be very curious to how it responds too, and if it starts to fall below the 200. Yeah, I think that could get very, very interesting in a hurry.
Yeah, I have a long share position, and I have long puts protecting it on the downside. And I'm just wondering if I should take off my puts, or if we're going to get a bounce.
It's a logical area for a bounce. The sell-off hasn't been ultra aggressive, right? Like it's you take a look at the volume on the way down. There's been a couple of volume spikes, but nothing crazy, right? Like we've seen plenty of stocks implode. Like the first Netflix comes to mind, right? Like biggest volume in forever, right? Like look at this volume way up here relative to like multiple years, right? And there's like a major gap down over here. You take a look at I don't know. I think Walmart was made some headlines, right? Like it's not selling off like this, right? Which is a good thing. Like it's pulled into the 200 relatively gently. Well, let's take a look at the weekly. I mean, I wouldn't want to be long. Like it's not my style to be holding long into something like that. I think that the momentum is to the downside, but the question of will it get a bounce? It's that if I were short, I would be looking to cover. How about that? Right? Like this is almost like the XME trade from a week and change ago, where I was short, like somewhere in this neighborhood, and as it was getting close to the 200, I decided to cover, anticipating a bounce, and not knowing for sure how high it would bounce or what. But the reward to risk got skewed. So I have to think that in NEM, if there's shorts from back here, that they're taking a look at this and are thinking similarly, right? That this might be a good place to cover. So if we start to see a bounce, great. If it breaks, then yeah, like it's in big trouble. That's a line that needs to be defended.
Now, the fact that relative strength sloping upward for this one day, I mean, it hasn't broken the trend, but it has sloped upward. I don't know if that's of any import at all at this point. I guess it's fallen less than the S&P has fallen. That's what it's telling us, right? As far as the percent drop.
Yeah, that's what it's telling us. That's what it's telling us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
just
that
saying
little
that-
of a move, um, I think I would want to see, several days of it turning up.
Right.
Well, one day, yeah, it's better than the market, but it's not much.
Right. And then PepsiCo took a real dive today. I don't know, I have to read the news on it, but everything's, when Staples starts selling off, I get really bearish. You know what I mean? Right down to the 200.
Yeah, well, when they make the raids, that they get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't just like just like in a bull market, there will be things to short. In a bear market, we'll still have like a handful of longs that will work. Part of the question though is like my backdrop and the is the market mood, right? Like, so coming back to our spreadsheet from earlier here and assessing which way things are moving, right? I'm basically going against the overall market condition, right? So that affects how much I'm betting, how big my size is. Um, but it's also linked to performance as well. So if a move is getting, let's say, 10% on average, then that means that I should be taking uh, more of my profit off at that level versus having the expectation that, oh, this thing is going to run. Um, so so there's that. Uh, and that also has me thinking too, like, how am I going to continue to manage this position for tomorrow? Uh, for tomorrow, I've got to think about this a little bit more, but I'm likely going to do a partial stop uh below right here. So maybe 91.40 or 91.45. Yeah, like 91.40. Um, and have like a half stop there and leave the other half at break even. Might be a little bit aggressive, but we'll see. What other questions you guys have? Another question from YouTube: is it a good practice to use the same strategy for each market? So examples: NQ, SPY, Russell, oil, gold, etc. Um, I'll give my 2 cents, and I'm curious to hear what other people think too, especially Stu. Um, for me, it's the strategies that I use are very similar. So the way that I trade stocks is similar to the way that I trade crypto. Now, each asset class is going to have its own unique nuances, right? Like crypto is a 24/7 market, and the types of orders that I'm able to place on Coinbase and when I'm using Robinhood to trade crypto are quite different than how I would trade stocks. So I need to factor in those types of things. However, the patterns that I'm looking for, the risk management that I'm looking for, like those types of things are exactly the same. And some of the way that I trade the way that I trade in general being the same, it actually ended up working better in crypto the past couple of years than in stocks. Like I had great returns in stocks, right? Like last year, 70%. In crypto, right? Like 400 or 500% gains, of 700% gain or so in Doge. You don't need to have multiple strategies, but I think that if you're able to master one strategy, you can see how it applies, right? But you don't want to just dive in to another asset class assuming that it'll work. You would want to test and test small and get a good number of trades under your belt. You need, I think that you need at least 100 for statistical significance. You could get a good feel probably after 20 or 30 if it's not going to work, right? Like if you're completely getting your butt kicked after 20 or 30 trades using a strategy while you're testing, you could say that, yeah, you know what, it's not working in this environment. But if it's going well after 20 or 30, then you want to continue testing so that we have statistical significance and can hopefully get some different market conditions into that test as well. Stu, anything to add?
Yeah, I suppose I would say I think they are different, and you do need to be aware of differences in the markets and things you're trading. So, stocks are fairly laid back, kind of hard to go wrong on stocks, and lose too much money, other than over trading. Whereas if you look at some of the other markets, so if you look at futures, for instance, it's very highly leveraged. So your risk management needs to be very different, and your trade management needs to be different. And you need to be aware of the fact that market's a 24-hour market. So you have to have plans and the ability to deal with that. And that the market may move significantly while you're otherwise engaged doing something in the evening or sleeping or whatever. So I think they do require different systems to trade them, and the setups and all that may well be the same, and they often have the same fundamental characteristics. But there will be differences in each market, but the biggest difference is around the risk and the trade management side of it, and how aggressive you need to be in the first few hours, minutes, days of a trade. So that's what I find the kind of key differences, to be honest. So it's, if you're going to take a stock trading strategy and apply it to futures, then you're probably going to blow your account, deservedly so. And much the same as if you take a stock trading strategy and apply it to options, you'll probably blow your account. So or a futures trading strategy and options, you probably blow it as well. So I think each one is different, and you just have to be aware of that. But there's the key pillars of every trading strategy that you have, and the setup is probably the kind of least important of them, and that's the one that's probably the most similar. Other than that, I think you need to consider how each market then operates and works, and how you're going to adapt and work to that in terms of risk management and trade management and exits and all that other stuff. So, yeah. That's my toughest one.
Very well said. All right. Well, what other questions do we have?
Stu, can you go back over the hedge, HDGE, and Is this a spot to get in or?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I think there's a nice little ledge there. Last 3 days.
Mhm.
So if the market continues to move downside tomorrow, it should break above that ledge, and there's a nice tight stop just under it. So you could get a bit of size on that one.
Like on the lowest day there, or the?
Yeah, just under the, just draw box around the last 3 days. Go for it there. And then target the high for your first scale out, maybe.
Okay.
Well, that would be massive. I would probably hit it. And you're probably going to get what? First scale about 2 to 1 or something, maybe?
Yeah, it's about 6% from where price is now to the high. Yeah, that would give you 2 to 1.
Yeah. And then hopefully, you move your stop to break even and just ride it up in this case, or the market down.
Mhm. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'll put hedge on the radar for tomorrow too. I was looking at the universe list earlier too. Is the universe list that I keep track of in MarketSmith right now? There's 232 names on it. I just sorted it by price to see. Well, is there anything that's up today? And what is that? Maybe about a dozen names out of 232 that are up on the day, and none of them are like anything that I would say, oh yeah, this one is setting up where I think that I'll take long. Like this is probably the closest. I don't think that's a fantastic setup just yet. And that's about it. Almost everything else is negative on the day.
ATI held up pretty well today. I mean, it's like right below the 50-day, but it's held above its shelf,
Yeah,
and it was on volume.
right
So
there.
it looks like it landed on the 21.
Let's look at TradingView. It's just a better place to look at charts. Yeah, poked above. I like that the stochastic moved out, but this is if the environment was stronger, and if I was if the environment was stronger, and part of my view of is the environment stronger is my performance within it. So if the market was stronger, I might consider that. But right now, though, like if I wanted to get in and use today's high as the trigger with the stop below these lows here, I'm talking about 10.5%. That's too much. If I were doing better, I might use yesterday's low as a stop, and 7% is kind of in range. Right now, I'm looking for 5% or less, unless if it's like I feel it's a absolutely fantastic setup. You might use today's low and play that range, being that you got the 50-day moving average as support of the breaks out plus now plus the 21. Yeah, if you're performing well and things are working out, like then maybe I might use that. But for me, for right now, that's a bit too aggressive. But I don't know. What other thoughts do you have?
I thought it was a good one for a watch.
Another one that the relative strength line is at its highs too. Stu, what do you think about this one? ATI.
Yeah, I'll just have a look at it. I don't like it. Actually. So, it's not making. It's not going the right way. It's going the wrong way. Making lower lows and lower highs. And then today's close. Just be honest about it here. It's not, I wouldn't even consider it. So, yeah. But you know me, I like to see confirmation that things are going the way I expect them to go. So.
All right. What else? What else we got? You guys able to hear me all right? YouTube is some people on YouTube are telling me that it's hard to hear.
Oh, we can hear you. I can hear you fine on Discord. No issues.
All right. So Discord is the better streaming platform. That's funny.
So today's price action took out Friday's action as well as Monday and Tuesday, right?
Oh, which one are you talking about, Sal?
In the markets, the downtrend we had today, the sell-off we had today, took out Friday's gains Monday and Tuesday, you know?
Yeah, it's a three-line strike pretty much across the board, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You took out 3 days of previous gains.
Yeah, just kind of confirms that we're in a bearish downward trend.
Yeah, couple of days up doesn't really make a rally.
Right.
And we need to have a few more confirming things too, and that's why monitoring the indexes and across the board and the actual trade setups too. Like if we saw this and there were like 40 or 50 stocks that were setting up off of these lows, kind of like what we had back here, right? Like the market didn't look like it looks far worse now, but on this day, it didn't look fantastic either. But meanwhile, you have 40 or 50 stocks setting up and they're the quality setups, then that's something that gets my attention and gets me interested. Over here, you got nothing.
Right.
It's back to the fundamentals, that are not the fundamentals of the companies, but the basics of trading. And you've got to see it put in a new high, then a higher low, and then it's got to break that new high, and then consider going long. But trying to pick a bottom or turning point until it proves that it's turned, it's just a fool's errand. The predominant trend is down, so look for shorts.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple,
Yeah, and even over here too, like it hasn't touched the 21 yet, right? Like yesterday, like it popped above the 10, like, oh, maybe it gets to the 21. Nope. It's that just shows like how strong the sellers are right now.
It's just interesting because IBD, they changed their outlook yesterday, I believe, or the day before.
Well, really?
Uptrend, and now it's
Get the hell out of here.
under pressure,
Those
Oh my
guys are
God, let
always
me
wrong,
see.
aren't they?
Oh my God, you're right. This is why I love these guys, and God bless them, because they're the ones that helped get me on this path, and for what I'm doing right now. But like this is I just completely disagree with that market outlook. Yeah, no, definitely not. And that's the problem with the follow through day concept. I think that it's a part of analysis, right? But I don't think that it's the be all end all.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to be unavailable on Saturday. It's probably something you should discuss with Andrew, because we were talking to him last Saturday about this follow-through concept, and maybe kind of reinforce. It needs to be confirmed.
Well, the problem with that though is that today was an up day and they didn't put that in their paper yesterday that it was a follow-through day and a confirmed uptrend, then people would be bitching about that, so.
Right.
And like today on IBD Live, they talk about, they go, we have to do this, but, we gotta watch what the market does here because we're really in a downtrend. So they kind of have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Did they mention which index had the follow through day?
Yesterday was a follow-through day.
On which one?
Volume, I don't remember if it was the S&P or the NASDAQ, because they had volume and everything else.
Well, you can see we had stronger volume on the NASDAQ on an up day.
Yeah, that's and this is day 4. So they're just following the rules and they're always cautioning us.
Yeah, on both. They had slightly stronger volume on both on up days. Volume today supersedes the last 2 days volume.
Yeah, and it's part of the reason why too, like and why I tossed the rule of, like if there's a follow through day, buy something. Like no, if there's something to buy, you buy it. Right, and I'm not going to sit around and wait for a follow through day to do buying if the setups are there, because often what will happen is the leaders will set up and break out before the market even turns, right? Like so they'll be oh, well, when did I get into Merck? Merck was, well, why am I looking here? I got it right here. Merck was bought on 5.6, right? So when is 5.6 on the index? 5.6. That's right here. Right? The market's making lower lows as I'm busy buying. Right? But why am I buying? Because the stock is setting up. Right? It's an index of stocks. So if the idea is that if there's a high quality setup, right, and we need to have strict criteria for what makes a high quality setup. That's the whole concept of this gauntlet thing. Well, with all these check boxes that I came up with, and I mention it all the time too. Like, it's not that that criteria is so great. Like, but make your own criteria, but just like follow it. Admit, like, if a stock happens to check off 90% of your boxes, then that's a good trade. And use the market as a backdrop to how much size you're going to put on. So buying Merck over here and it's breaking out and running as the market's imploding, and then waiting for a follow through day. Oh, it's a follow through day. Let's buy something. And now you're rolling right back over. Yeah, I wouldn't throw the follow through day concept out the window. It's the application of like, well, what actions are we going to take because of the follow through day, or with the follow through day, and also seeing it as one part of the larger picture.
Mike, can you take a look at VTNR? I'm flat on this position at the moment, and it looks like today we might have a changing character.
VTNR, sure. And it looks like Ollie's in the house. How's it going, Ollie? Let me put this on this chart over here, VTNR. All right, so what about VTNR?
Yeah, well, if you had candles, you'd see this is a doji formation, and it's under distribution today, it looks like.
Okay.
Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Reverse signal.
Yeah.
Gravestone doji.
Yeah, exactly.
Pushing into new highs and closing in the lower half of its range. Volume elevated. Let's see what Merck looks like. I'm not as up on the candlestick formations. Does any of this count as gravestones or abandoned babies or any of that?
No, they're just normal ones.
All right.
Spinning top, that's all you got there on the last one, right? That's a spinning top.
Yeah.
Very spinning top.
All right, not bad.
And weaker volume.
All right, anything else? It's a few minutes after past 5. Yeah, Ollie, the market, not just the S&P, but pretty much like everything sold off pretty hard today, and you could see that. Like, I made these little, not sure when you hopped on, but we were talking about follow through days and how, like, Yesterday was a follow-through day, question mark. Well, yeah, no, this is why um, uh, the stocks are like the actual trades that I'm going to take are the primary trigger, and the market serves as a backdrop, not the other way around. Um, anything else from Discord? No. Thoughts on inflation? Do any of you guys have thoughts on inflation?
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, everyone's talking about it potentially peaking, but I don't know yet. We'll have to see if it's peaked.
The UK bank, central bank, are now forecasting that it might go as high as 10%. So,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, you guys are at 9% now, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was that was what came out today. Yeah. It's quite good for me at the moment because most of my money's in dollars, so pounds get cheaper. So I get more when I convert it back. So it's kind of win-win for me.
Yeah, the dollar is strong, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of talk about food inflation. That's still in our press at the moment. The cost of food, basic food stuff, is going to kind of rocket over the summer. We should wait and see.
Stu, do you follow the term structure of the VIX? Do you look at that?
Well, I do every week. Yeah, I keep an eye on it.
Yeah, it did kind of switched, right? It was
Yeah, it dropped down, didn't it?
yeah, it looks like it's it's in what's the term, contango at the moment as opposed to backwardation.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets very confusing all that stuff, doesn't it?
It's just another signal, right? Just another signal. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, kind of could be.
I look at the VIX against the forward month and to see if one's over the other, you know. Then I look at the whole term structure just occasionally, but it's just a signal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, yeah, I mean, Mike's kind of got it marked down there, really. It's, when it's in that 18 to 25, that's a sweet spot. Well, I've always found it to be. But hey, you can make a lot of money when it's elevated like it is just now. If you get
expensive.
Yeah.
Options are expensive now, so yeah.
Yeah, if you get the right instrument and the timing right, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. All right, I think we'll call it a wrap. Great chatting with you guys today.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
It was good, thank you.
All right, see you then, Sal. Cheers.
Yeah, see you,
Bye.
Sal. See everybody. Yeah, everybody. I'll see you on Saturday for the mastermind. Anybody watching on YouTube, if you would like to join us, then check out the Mara Elite program. You could hop on to marawealth.com, check it out. You could also check out the newsletter too. Newsletter is free, and we provide some great educational information in there. But great seeing you guys. Great seeing everybody. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Right.